A hidden chamber beneath Oak Island has been discovered, potentially the final piece in a centuries-old hunt for treasure. Over 200 years, explorers have searched for the treasure said to lie buried in its depths, causing ruined lives, fortunes, and obsessed minds across the globe. The chamber is real and only the beginning of something much bigger than anyone imagined. This discovery stands out not just for its existence, but also its intention for years. Teams of hopefuls have hammered into the island armed with drills, maps, and dreams. However, this time it wasn't luck, but cold, precise science ground-penetrating radar revealed a man-made tunnel hidden deep below the surface untouched by modern hands. Initial scans revealed sharp lines and angles symmetry, which doesn't happen by accident. The layout screamed intention, and for the first time in decades, the island is pointing a way forward. The tunnel has been on Rick and Marty Liga's mind for years, connecting every strange artifact they've ever found into one larger design. The builders of this tunnel were not hiding junk, but protecting something that had broken. This deliberate, skillfully, and chilling discovery has left everyone on edge. Oak Island's lore goes back to 1795, when a group of teenagers discovered a sunken depression in the ground and started digging. What they found was layers of timber platforms, strange tools, and coconut fiber. Ever since, people have been wondering if the chamber was hiding something or warning them away. Over the centuries, dozens of excavation attempts have come and gone, some finding scraps of treasure and evidence of engineering beyond the tools of the era. Now, more than 200 years later, the new tunnel discovery near the eastern side of the swamp might finally be answering back. Advanced radar imaging provided a blueprint and layout for the tunnel, and small access points drilled from above were carefully angled and braced to avoid collapse. The probe camera lowered in the footage confirmed the impossible solid walls, layered stone, and timber beams untouched by water. This discovery is not just about the tunnel, but what could be at the end of it. Oak Island, a hidden gem in Nova Scotia, has long been linked to the Knights Templar, a hidden order rumored to have fled persecution and carried unimaginable treasure. Experts believe that the tunnel could lead to a hidden chamber, possibly filled with artifacts that haven't seen daylight in centuries. The tunnel was not just built, but designed, with sonar scans showing curves, corners, potential trapdoors, or even decoys. This structure could be just as cunning as the flood tunnels that have sabotaged countless previous digs. As the team maps the newly discovered tunnel, strange patterns begin to emerge: parallel routes, right angles, and repeated measurements. These patterns are not natural, but architectural and look intentional, like something meant to hide or protect a route. This is when the whispers begin again about the Knights Templar. Historical evidence has tied their movements to the Atlantic. Old maps, coded manuscripts, and even French relics have pointed back to Nova Scotia. Skeptics laugh at this theory, but now they are faced with a precise multi-tunnel system built deep beneath the earth. The tunnel structure bears eerie resemblance to medieval defense systems, buried vaults, trap layouts, and multi-entry access designed for escape or concealment. On the island's surface, Gary Drayton's metal detector lights up like a war drum near the shoreline, near the eastern swamp. He finds coins of 17th century British origin, two of them worn buried deep beneath layers of rock and pyite. One of them bears the year 1771. This suggests human presence, not just any presence, someone with purpose who dropped them while concealing something or marked a trail they hoped someone would follow. Gary Drayton and his team store the finds not to hoard but to compare the deeper they go, finding buttons from old military uniforms, wheels believed to be casters, and equipment used in tunnel projects. This stacks up into one clear conclusion: someone was here before someone dug here before, and someone tried very hard to make sure we wouldn't know. The new sonar data makes the tunnel's entry point so electrifying, and a week after mapping the tunnel's entry point, the team discovers a pocket, a void, roughly 20 feet beyond the current excavation line. The scans are too clean and too symmetrical, but it seems like the chamber might be real, and the tunnel may be leading there. Oak Island, a famously unstable island, has been the site of numerous excavations and collapses over the centuries. The team is now using digital remote probing, micro cameras, vibration sensors, and magnetic resonance to study the underground structure. They are no longer just treasure hunters, but data miners, scanning every layer of Earth like a book. The team discovers that the underground structure is an engineering obstacle course with narrow corridors, sudden elevation changes, and pressure points buried deep beneath the surface. This design seems to be designed to collapse, flood, or deceive, leading to the trapdoor theory. Remote imaging shows unexpected 2 levels of flooring within the suspected chamber zone, which is not how natural voids behave. This is man-made, and sonar imaging reveals dense material over hollow space and an uneven cavity beneath it. The team stops excavation immediately and sends in ground-penetrating sonar from multiple angles, finding chilling metal buried beneath layers of soil in precise spots near the suspected chamber walls. If the trapdoor theory is true, this structure was meant to collapse not by erosion or time, but by design. Oak Island has fought back since the late 1700s, with every major dig hitting an obstacle, collapsed shafts, sudden floods, and disappearing artifacts. Now science is catching up to superstition, and what they're finding suggests the legends were right all along. As they race to stay ahead of the unpredictable weather in Nova Scotia, the team uses non-invasive tech to enter the tunnel wall. A fiber optic camera guides by remote, entering through an existing borehole and sliding into the outer tunnel wall. The camera sees brief, shaky, but undeniable wood panels cut by hand, angled, interlocked with spacing far too perfect to be natural. This isn't driftwood or collapsed debris, but a wall, or even a vault door. Skeptics have long believed that Oak Island was a trap, but now the data tells another story: the hardware structure and the history of the island's collapse. Oak Island is a location that has been a magnet for treasure hunters for more than 2 centuries, and the team has been assigned with the mission of discovering a hidden chamber beneath Oak Island. Paint, carvings, burn marks, and symbols are some examples of the faint markings that the team will attempt to capture on the wood as part of their approach. These markings will then be studied by specialists. The group is of the opinion that the chamber might hold artifacts of religious significance, documents, seals, and relics that are associated with long-lost civilizations. There is a possibility that the crew will continue excavation without fully comprehending the magnitude of the trap mechanisms, despite the fact that it is anticipated that the tunnel dates back to the 1700s or even earlier. In the event that it is activated, the trapdoor has the potential to flood the room, bury the evidence permanently, and put the crew in risk. After several weeks of modeling, cross-referencing sonar images, recalibrating pressure readings, and cross-checking every inch of new terrain, the crew makes the decision to dig, but they do not go directly toward the chamber. The alternative is that they excavate a parallel access shaft that goes around the perimeter of the structure that is suspected of being there. The only way to avoid setting off a potential trap is to do so in this manner. As they approach the exterior of the chamber, they are confronted with a low vibration that is first gentle, but becomes more intense as they come into contact with the wall. The walls are lined with alabs that have been carved, measured, and filled with artifacts. These artifacts are significantly different from gold or coins, and they are scroll tubes that have been sealed with wax wood chests that are bound in iron cloth-covered bundles. A square that is encased in glass may be found embedded in the middle of the stone pedestal. After moving through the opening, the team notices that cables stretch through the opening, and what they observe is beyond their ability to believe. This room has not been modified, and it has a dome ceiling that is approximately 20 feet by 30 feet and is supported by timber beams. The walls are lined with alabs that have been carved, measured, and filled with treasures. These artifacts are not made of gold or money, but rather items that are quite unusual. As a result of the discovery, there is the potential for damage to moving objects, disintegration, or even destabilization. The consequences of this breakthrough are staggering. The team does something that very few people anticipated. They discover the concealed chamber that is located beneath Oak Island. However, it is not apparent whether the chamber contains a treasure vault, a historical time capsule, or something more hazardous. The group must make a decision about what is located beyond the subsequent tunnel in order to proceed with their mission to discover the concealed chamber at the base of Oak Island.